Good morning. We're going to start in banana asana. I know. So why start serious? So banana asana, you come lying onto your back, and you take your right foot to the right, and you hook your left heel over the top of your right ankle. Then stretch your arms over your head, grab onto your left wrist, and pull it to the right as much as possible. So you're basically doing this on the ground. Because have you ever seen a straight banana? So beautiful. Once you get the posture, allow yourself to chill a little bit, if that can be a chilling little bit place. Take a full inhale, and exhale, just sigh out. So you should feel this stretch go through the whole left side of your body. And just take a couple moments and notice what you brought with you as you arrive on the mat this morning. Do you remember your dreams? Maybe you had a nightmare right before you woke up about getting to yoga. You might even notice in your dreams where you have dreams that are about the stresses of your daily life. Then you have dreams that really reach beyond the logic of your day-to-day life. And with especially dreams that escape your logic, instead of trying to understand it with your analytical mind, notice the feelings you get with it. And sometimes even we just go to bed with something, and when we wake up in the morning, it's still kind of hanging out there. So just notice. And then my bananas. Stretch back to the center, reach long, and then take your left foot to the left. Hook your right ankle, your heel over your left ankle, and then pull your right arm to the left, seeing if you can get a whole curve to your body so your hips are still relaxing on the ground. Yeah, you got it. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, just sigh out through your mouth. Wow, that was very creepy and quiet. We can try it again. Take a full inhale and just sigh it out through your mouth. And you can feel your body actually relax with your exhale. And then take a couple moments and just notice how your thinking has been this morning. Observing how you've thought, not so precisely what you've thought. Okay, take a couple moments to observe your feelings. I know it sounded like I said cake, huh? You might even notice that when you turn to observe your feelings, You might have the really big obvious ones there, but there may even be something underneath the surface that defies categorizing or labeling. And just notice. And then take a couple moments to notice your energy in your body and the sensations of your physical body. And then stretch your banana out. Just lengthen, straighten your body. And hug your knees up to your chest. And start to roll back and forth on your mat about 4 or 5 times. And just roll up into a seated position. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Have your heels 2 hands length away from your groin. So it's about roughly where your hips are, 2 hands length. It's so where you bend at the waist so that your head goes right down into your feet clearly. Yeah. So first thing, so you have this nice cradle of the arches of your feet actually catching your head. Inhale, lift up your heart, look up. And then with your exhale, start to roll down. And just see where your body releases to, where resistance starts. And instead of pushing, like we're trained to, see if you can let go and soften. Let your head hang, let your elbows be heavy, let your tongue relax, your jaw soften. And breathe. So when we get used to everything being defined through materialism, we forget how transformative us being human can be. So of course, we can have the laws of physics to understand the material of our physical body, the substance. But we don't want to limit ourselves to conducting our inner world obedient to the wrong laws. So I'm pretty clear that today I'm not so good at changing lead into gold. You know, this classic alchemy. When you take it literally, that's what they were talking about. Or maybe you have a more ancient wisdom of Rumpelstiltskin changing the straw into gold. But notice what pain you've experienced in your life that maybe has transformed you, or you've transformed it into something different. Or notice how your heart can soften a harsh situation with kindness. Or this amazing capacity that you have for love. You give it away and you don't feel depleted. You don't feel a loss. Quite the opposite. And then inhale up, because it's always fun to remind ourselves of the lions. Take your hands back behind you, fingers pointing to your hips, put your feet on the floor. Now we're going to lift up, we're going to do one variation of lion pose where you stick your tongue all the way down your chin and then you look at your third eye. And with a whisper, you're going to roar like a lion. So inhale, lift up your hips, drop your neck if that's okay. Stick out your tongue, look at your third eye, and with a whisper, 2 more. Inhale, lift your hips higher. Exhale. One more time. And then bring your hips back down. Oh, so slyly wipe off your chin. And we're just going to come to a cross-legged position here. So you can either come into Sukhasana, easy pose, half lotus, full lotus, levitation. Bring your hands to heart center. Let your heart lift up as you stretch your head to the heavens and you reach your hips down to the earth. We're going to sound 3 ohms, and sometimes they sound heavenly and sometimes they sound weird. But just fearlessly go with it. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. And then release your hands, open your eyes, and make your way towards the back of the mat and come into tabletop. So you want your hands directly underneath your shoulders, your knees right underneath your hips. And with your inhale, lift up your head, your heart, and your hips. Feel your sit bones separating into cow pose. You can even do a silent moo. And with your exhale, push the ground away. Lift your belly button up. Inhale, lift up into cow. I learned that in the spiritual world, things are often backwards. So think about it. The cow goes moo. With the exhale, push the ground away. I couldn't resist. And then inhale, lift up into cow. So in the spiritual world, it goes om. All right, wiggle your hips around, shake a little bit. Make sure you're not being too serious, too stiff. Smiling, little tabletop shake. And then you're gonna walk your hands forward and stretch your chest forward. So we're doing a little active Anahatana. So bring your chin or your forehead to the ground and reach your arms so much that your elbows don't touch. And we're not doing this in the yin way, we're doing this in the yang way. So let your chest be reaching for the ground as you actively lengthen your arms. Maybe see if you can bring your hips a little bit more forward, pair, so they're over your knees. Yes. Beautiful, you got it, Anna. It's called Anahata Asana, which is like heart pose. So you want to feel like your heart is kind of being delivered more open towards the earth. And then you're going to slide forward. And you're going to lay down on your belly. And you're going to take your arms out wide off your yoga mat. And again, we're doing this actively, so it's not passive. Make your legs very active and push your toenails into the ground, so much so that it's easy for you to lift up your chest in this supported low cobra. Inhale up, exhale, come down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Now take an inhale here. Now with your exhale, see if you can lift up, just to change things around. Nice. Inhale, down. Exhale, engage your abdominals and lift up. And then lift up your hands. Beautiful. Now lift up, push down with your toenails, lift your chest a little bit more, pull your elbows back. Now bend your knees and reach in with the balls of your big toes, stretch your legs long up in the air. Now feel your elbows reaching for your heels. Take another full inhale, and with your exhale, you're going to bring your feet down and you're going to drag your hands down and lift up into upward facing dog. Heart in front of your chest, thighs floating, see if you can lift up your legs. Take another full inhale, and then come back to your knees. Exhale, wiggle it around. Dance your little tabletop. Make circles with your hips. And before we start our vinyasa, we're going to do one last tabletop exercise. So stretch your right leg straight back, engage your lower abdominals, and reach your left arm straight forward. If you have the wall to negotiate with, you can move. Now you're going to turn, you're going to cactus your left arm, and then turn your hand down and reach back and see if you can catch your right foot. Beautiful. Push with the ball of your big toe, hips still squared, and then see if you can glide your chest a little bit forward. Beautiful. Stretch your limbs long. And with your exhale, come down. Inhale, lift up your head, your heart, and your hips. Exhale, push the ground away. Inhale, head, heart, and hips. Exhale, push the ground away. Then inhale, stretch your left leg back. Raise it up so it's an extension of your spine. And then stretch your right arm straight forward. Bend your knee. Pull back with your elbow so your shoulder really reaches back, and then reach back and grab your foot. Now notice when you're holding onto your foot, you can push your foot into your hand and you can pull your foot with your hand. And in between those two forces, you have the power to lift your leg up. Breathe into it. I know your foot gets elusive even though you've kept it there your whole life. Now you're still squared forward, pair? Oh yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Pushing down with your left hand, not to collapse in your shoulder. And then inhale, stretch your limbs on the horizontal line, and with your exhale, bring your hands down, tuck your toes under, and wiggle your way up to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathe into it. Feel your hips pull up and back with your inhale. Feel your fingers spread out. Empty your breath all the way, bend your knees, lift up your heels, and quietly float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Push down with your feet, rise up tall, lift up high. And exhale, Samastitihi, like you're coming home. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, soften your knees and bend down. Let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift, lots of heart. Move your chest forward, bend your knees. And then place your hands on the ground and step back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga or the ground, so you go halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, and maybe sigh out some good stuff. So you want to practice breathing in your challenges and breathing out what you want to see more of. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way and quietly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Chest glides forward, flat back. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet, rise up tall. Stretch up to the sky. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bow down. Let your knees soften, your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. So if you don't have a hunchback, unhunch your back. And then step back to plank or jump to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, fuel up. Exhale, transform. Inhale, you got it, Stephanie. Lift up your heels, bend your knees, empty your breath all the way, and float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Push down with your feet, rise up tall, lift up high. Exhale, Samastitihi. Now inhale, stretch up, and with your exhale, take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers, lift up your chest with your inhale. And with your exhale, bow down, let your hands come over your head towards the ground. Release your hands, inhale, halfway lift. Connect your hands to the shins or the ground. And then jump to chaturanga or step to plank and lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, just stretch your right leg up to the sky. Now pull your toes to your shin. So you're reaching back with your heel, your hips are squared. So you're flexing your foot, exactly. And then point your toes out to your right and see if you can sweep your leg up over your neighbor's hip. You're really hoping your person on the right side, this other right side, Steph, is short, which they're not. So yeah, it's a burning thing. You feel like you have your legs straight. Okay, there's not so much there going on, guys. So if you're not sure what you're doing, you're stretching your right leg out to the right. It's like a fancy Hydran Asana version. All right, inhale, stretch your legs straight back. And relax your right leg down. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. You're going to pull your toes to your shin. And then you're going to sweep your left leg out from your hip, like you're trying to put your big toe in your ear without bending your knee. Straighten both of your arms. Nice, Kiara. Feel that burn sensation go, yes, I can transform this. Take another full inhale. And then exhale, bring your left leg back. Inhale, lift up your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and quietly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet, rise up tall, lift up high. Exhale, Samastitihi. Now inhale, bend your knees, drop your booty. Inhale, Utkatasana. And this time, take your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers, reach your chest up to the ceiling, and then exhale, bow down. Release your hands as you inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins or the ground. And either hop to chaturanga or step to plank lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, joyful. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your feet together. That's weird, I know. And now with your next inhale, as you spread out your fingers, you're going to stretch your right leg up to the sky. Now, square your hips to the ground. Yes. And now bend your right knee. And then glide your weight forward to your hands. And see if you can glide your chest forward and see if you can tap the back of your head with your foot. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. With your exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale here, lift up with your belly. And exhale, place your foot next to your thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your feet together. Now, next inhale, lift up your left leg. Stretch it long, hips square to the mat. Feel your fingers on the ground. And then bend your knee and glide your weight forward to your hands and see if you can just tap the back of it. Oh, I think you got it, Steph. Yeah. Inhale, stretch long, and with your exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale here, pull your belly up. And then exhale, place your left foot next to your left thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel the breath moving through your nose. Feel that you're pushing down with the first knuckle of your thumb and your index finger in the soft spot in between. What? You're pushing down with the thumb and the index finger first knuckle in the soft spot in between. And then you're keeping your hands flat on the ground. Yes. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way and float your feet in between your hands. Sometimes when you're doing it right, it's like you're falling forward. Perfect. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Utkatasana. Exhale, take your hands back behind you. Inhale, lift up your heart. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, release your hands, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up and bend your knee. Glide forward and then see if you can lift up your head and touch the back of your head with your foot. Yeah, very close. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, step your foot all the way forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. And with your exhale, tap your mat with your back knee. Inhale, straighten both your legs. Exhale, tap the mat with the back of your knee. Inhale, straighten both your legs. Exhale, tap the mat. Now this time you're going to straighten just your back leg. Notice you stay very low here. Make your hands active and then start to look up. Find a little bit of a back bend. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up. Bend your knee. Glide forward, hips square to the mat, and tap the back of your head. You're nearly there. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, step your foot forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. And exhale, tap the back of your mat with your knees. Straighten both of your legs. Exhale, tap both. Nothing, just tap one of them. Inhale, straighten, but bend both. One more time. Tap your back knee. Now this time, here's the key. Stay this bent with your left knee and just reach back with your right leg. Yeah, beautiful. Now turn your hands to face one another. Look up, lift up. And exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe through your nose and just notice how you're feeling. You're starting to get a little fire going, perhaps. A little warmth. Let your head relax and look in between your feet. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Maybe walk your feet a little bit closer to your hands, Brian, and then bend your knees slightly. Yeah, and now pull your hips up and back. With the knees softly bent, gives you more freedom in the spine. Inhale, lift up your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Look forward and quietly jump your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale, open arm twist to your right. Reach through your fingertips. And inhale up to center. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet together, and then inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee. Glide forward. Try to reach your chest through your arms. Look up, tap your head. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, step your right foot all the way forward. And right now, we're going to drop the left knee down. We'll get there. We'll straighten it. Don't worry. And you're going to raise your arms up. And then, you're going to cradle the back of your head. Now squeeze your arms together and see if you can drop your hips down as you relax your neck and point your elbows up. Beautiful. Now, if this is too boring for you, feel free to already extend your left leg. Now, inhale. See you have the freedom to reach your arms up, stretch your left leg. Lift your knee off the ground. Oh, yeah. And now with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Reach through your fingertips. Beautiful. Maybe a hint of a smile for a radical life. Take a full inhale here, then exhale. Open up. Warrior two. Thanks for reading my mind, Layla. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Squeeze your elbows in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your feet together and inhale, lift up your left leg. Bend your knee. Glide forward, pulling your chest through your arms. Try to tap the back of your head. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, step your left foot all the way forward. Enjoy the reprieve as you bring your right knee down to the ground. And then lift your arms up and interlace your fingers and just change them from the way you had them last time. Squeeze your elbows together. And as your elbows lift up, drop your hips down. Beautiful. Start to look up, squeeze your elbows together like earmuffs. Yeah. Let your heart be lifting and opening, because really it's up to you. You don't want to keep avoiding those painful things. You want to digest them. You want to talk about them so we can have a meal and transform them. Now, maybe you're already stretched your right leg long. Maybe you're ready to now. Stretch your arms up. Feel your heart opening, even though it's a little scary. And then with your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Reach through your fingertips. Palms facing out. Yeah. Take an inhale here, then exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, tuck your booty. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, sigh out. All right, are you feeling a little bit warm, I hope? So you're going to drop your heels down to the mat and walk your hands a little bit closer to your feet. And you're going to take your feet out, and I want you to make your feet like Charlie Chaplin feet. So your toes are pointing out and your heels are together. Beautiful. Now, you have a kind of narrow downward facing dog. And you're gonna bend your right knee. Oh, can you feel where we might be going with this? And then you're gonna lift up your knee, and then see if you can keep your right hand on the ground, and see if you can lift up your left arm and grab onto your right foot. And then see if maybe you can start to glide your chest forward. It's awkward, I know. Well done. If you can't grab your foot, just reach for it. Isn't it weird how all of a sudden it became secret where it was? All right, and then put your right foot down. Make an adjustment with your hands. Bend your left knee. And then see if maybe you have the balance just to be with your left hand and your right foot on the ground. Or maybe you can grab onto your foot. And once you have that grip, slide forward. Beautiful. And release. Drop your knees down to the ground. Straighten your toes out. Take a child's pose. Take a moment. Notice to feel. This is part of what helps you in this transformative process. How do we take what's painful and raw and change it in ourselves so that we don't have to leave pain behind us? Instead, we can leave acts of goodness, of service. Now glide forward onto your belly. I said glide. No, I'm just kidding. Slide, glide, lie on your belly. All right, you're going to take your arms out to a cactus arms. You start relaxing first, and then we'll effort. Don't you worry. And just notice your left leg and your left hip. And you want to really actively push your left leg and your left hip into the ground. And first, you're going to lift up your chest, your arms, and your head. So go ahead, lift up your chest, your arms, and your head. Beautiful, Anna. You got there. Now bend your right knee and keep pushing down with your left hip and bring your right foot to your head. We've been practicing for this. It's been nearly there. I think Stephanie got her toes stuck in her hair. And then release down. Beautiful. Oh, that's what's weird today. Sana isn't here. Okay. Other side. So really feel your right hip, your right leg. And then inhale, lift up your head, your heart, your arms, your chest. You can make bad faces. Yeah, make it like, oh, this is horrible. I don't like this. But do it on purpose. I know. Instead of letting it happen. Now lift up your left leg if you haven't already. See if you can just tap your head with your toes. You had to think yes. And then release. It wasn't like Rumpelstiltskin was like, oh, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. Yeah? Like he knew he could weave the straw into gold. You are a powerful being, my dear. Don't belittle yourself by adding arbitrary limits. All right, both legs together. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, starts off the same way, but you can squeeze your legs together and bend your knees, and then inhale, lift up. And now bring your feet to your buttocks. And now just for fun, stretch your arms out. And you're going to do this. You're going to go and see if you're reaching for your legs, but don't grab them yet. Don't grab them yet. And then gently release down. Wiggle your hips side to side. Allow things to move through you. We have this incredible digestion system. There's not even a clear moment in traditional science where the food that you eat, the carrot, the chocolate, turns into you. They're not really sure when that happens. And we know that there's an element, there's a limitation to just looking at the physicality of something. So we want to look beyond it. All right. Kick up your feet for a wicked good time. It's going to be awesome. Notice what you're doing, how you're making it already. And this time, you're going to lift up, start with the cactus arms, or you can come with the cobra teeth. That's awesome too. And then lift up, take your arms out, reach back, and see if you can grab onto your feet. Oh yeah. Now see if you can lift up even higher. Imagine your feet and your hands as the top of the teardrop. Squeeze your knees together. Push the balls of your big toes towards me. Squeeze your knees together as my, oh yeah, baby. Maybe a hint of a smile. Layla, you're doing awesome. I can see you. Woo! Lift up. And then gently release. Take a full breath in with your exhale. Just sigh it out. So we can come across traditions that keep telling us to take our bad feelings and just sigh them out and leave them outside of yourself. But I think it robs us of what we're capable of. If you imagine this, like if we leave all of our pain outside of us, like someone else is going to have to deal with it. All right, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. A last little bit of effort. Squeeze your legs together. Tuck your toes under. And inhale, lift up into plank. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Beautiful, plank. So feel your plank. Get active in your plank. Keep your abdominals engaged. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch your right leg up to the sky, and with your exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. And then bring your shin in front of you, coming in for a pigeon. So you can have your right knee just in front of your right hip, or a little bit more to the right of your right hip. But you want both of your hips pointing straight forward, and you want to stretch your left foot straight back. And then before we settle into sleeping swan, just reach back with your left hand and grab onto your left foot. Other left hand, you had it. Same side. We've been doing opposite all day. And then see if you can turn your hand around so your toes and your fingers point the same way. So you're taking your hand and you're actually pushing your foot towards your hips. See if you can get your fingers, look at this stuff, to go in the same direction as your toes. Some people can maybe pop their toes in front of their ribs. Nearly there, Adela? Now, let your foot slide. Actually, we'll take it this way. Grab onto your foot now with both your hands, if you can. And it might be like, okay, tomorrow I can. And then either holding onto it with one hand or both. See if you can relax down. They'll be happy to hear this posture is called screaming half king pigeon, which sounds like an exciting meal or something. But and then release your left leg if it's too much, especially. Release it. Stretch your arms out in front of you. You want your heel in front of your groin. Maybe move your right knee a little bit more to the right. Yeah, there you go. Does that give you a little bit more freedom? So if we never talk about the things that are uncomfortable, the things we don't like, the things that are even challenges between us and another, it's not like they magically disappear. Do you remember the last time you had a difficult conversation with someone you loved? And honestly ask yourself, did it change the situation? Did it improve something? In the world of physicality, right? If we chew something up, masticate it, it allows it to easier to digest. You know, we destroy the food we eat so we can liberate the nutrients from the food for our life forces, for our work. In the same way, our misunderstandings, our bad feelings, our pain, if we have the courage to lift it up and poke at it and talk about it, draw pictures about it, try to understand it. These are different ways of digesting it, of allowing the thing itself to die so we can liberate the nutrients, the substance, the sustenance of it. All right, tuck your left toes under and come back to downward facing dog and shake out your right leg. Move it around, wiggle it around, noticing that movement helps change sensation. And then the counter to pigeon pose is the other side. So stretch your left leg up to the sky after you put your right foot down. Bend your knee and bring your knee forward to your left wrist. Open your shin towards the top of the mat. And before we settle into it, find your variation. So maybe hold on, you can help your balance with your left hand and hold on to your right foot. And maybe you can spin your hand around so your fingers and toes point the same direction and start to pull and push your right toes to peek in front of your right ribs eventually. I imagine it took a couple of tries to, turn straw into gold. Now, if you have your balance, see if maybe you can hold on to your foot with both of your hands. Nice, Justine. And then let your heart lift and lead the way. Notice what your mouth is doing. And then see if you can come down into screaming half king pigeon. Now, we have to know our own boundaries, right? So if it's the kind of pain where you can't remember your name, too much, then release your back leg. And if you haven't already, go ahead and do it now. If it's hard on your knee, you can always do this posture upside down. So you do an eye of the needle pose. Release your leg, you got it. Stretch your arms forward. So take this part to the outside. Yes, and then you lift up. Take your left hand. Yes. And grab onto your thigh. Yeah. And then relax your head back. Beautiful. See where you can soften. You've done a great job. Take a full breath in and just sigh it out and feel your body relax. And then tuck your right toes under. Just stretch into downward facing dog just to shake out your left leg. And then either jump your legs through your hands or walk your feet up to your hands and sit your butt down on the ground. Nice. And then grab onto the back of your thighs. Thighs, back of your, yeah. Yeah, thanks, guys. And either have your feet at 90 degrees, your shins, your lower legs, and stretch your arms out, or stretch your legs out all the way. And then everybody stretch your legs out and lower down. Now roll into your right butt cheek and lift up a little bit. And roll down. Roll up into your left. Oh, yeah. You know where we're going here. It's not abdominal work. It's actually a wonderful butt massage. Because maybe today's your birthday and you need a little butt massage. Woo! For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then hug your knees in. Lift up your face and kiss your knees. Thank you. And then open your arms to a T and slowly lower your legs to the left, keeping your knees as high as your hips. We're just doing a rinsing twist. When your knees drop, take a full inhale with your exhale side out through your mouth. And then come back to center. And slowly drop your knees to the right. Once they touch, take a full breath in. Breathe in what's challenging and hard. Breathe out what you want to see more of. You can imagine with every exhale, you have the opportunity to leave goodness all around you. And then bring your knees back to center. Stretch your legs long. Palms open to receive. Take your feet, relax them, and it's time for Shavasana. So corpse pose, so slide enough that the wall's not in the way for you. You're lying on your back. Your palms open to receive. And then close your eyes and let the solidness of the ground hold you. Let your attention stay in the room and stay in your body. You can use your listening to do that. You can listen to strange little sounds around you. If you can't keep your eyes closed, cover your eyes with something. You know, a pair of socks or whatever you got. next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. Think of something you're grateful for and smile. Stretch your body long and then hug your knees to your chest and roll over onto your right hand side, just coming into a fetal position. And just take a moment and feel your vitality, your energy, your power to transform. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. And allow your hands to meet at heart center. Root up towards the stars and down towards the middle of the earth. Empty your breath and let's close with one Om. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. And then make some noise. And thank you so much for your time and attention. Have a great day.